starting up too. It's a lot. So
Oh, hold on.
To be as loud as the disrespect was. That's all I need. It was a bad shot, but he was out of rhythm as well.
Don't try to take up. That was a
Man,
bad
he
shot.
was out of rhythm though.
Hey, Kendall.
yo,
Look,
what's up,
look.
everybody?
Look,
Um,
go ahead.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Kendall. I'm here with my man Khalil. This is another episode of the Wild Card. So,
Where everything is wild. You can expect
yeah,
anything
very
every
unexpected.
single week. But nah, but
Very
I think that will happen later. But Kendall, long week, bro. Long week. I'm happy for a bye week. We finally get a break.
For sure, man. Because it's tough. Because not only do we play, but the rest of college plays too, and then we got NFL football back too. So it's always a long weekend. I feel like so. It's definitely nice to kind of relax. We still got work to do, but
yeah,
it's nice
players are relaxing, and we are too. I'm letting you know that now.
Yeah.
But that being said, Alabama State did travel to California this past weekend, where they faced off against the UCLA Bruins. As you can see, some highlights right here. The Hornets did come out unsuccessful in their win. In their loss, 45-7. Kendall, I want to start off like this. Would you say we are better or worse than last year's team to this point?
Personally, I think we're better. I think at this point last year, I was very concerned about the team going into SWAC play, just because I wasn't really sure how they were going to play. I think this team has shown flashes, and it's shown potential every game, which is important, I think. And you got to think about the competition that we played too. Sure, Howard. People may say Howard and Miles aren't on our level or whatever, but the way that those games went out, like the circumstances and things like that, I think that we played pretty well with those circumstances. And then going up against UCLA, I was more encouraged from this game than I was at all in that Auburn game last year. So I think 3 games in, 2-1, and I think we had a pretty good showing against UCLA in the first quarter. So I'm pretty confident about this team going forward, as long as we fix some mistakes and do some things that we need to do with it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that we showed like you said, we showed a lot of good flashes. There was a lot more good than bad in this game, in my opinion, from our perspective. Obviously, you never want a loss is a loss, but there's good that you can take in a loss. We see it's coming right here, way better, and there's more depth at the skill position. I definitely agree with that. I think in my opinion, I think our offensive line played their best quarter of football against UCLA in the first quarter. Obviously, there's still moments where you're going to let some pressure get through and get to Miles, because Miles isn't a mobile quarterback. Let's get that. We all know that he can move, but he's better in the pocket. He's a lot more comfortable when he's sitting in the pocket, picking apart the defense. And we saw early in the game, he showed some flashes. He showed a lot of potential. And there were some moments, and we'll get to this in a minute, I was like, Demetrius might have some competition, legit, because there was moments that Demetrius, Miles was like, I think he was 11 for 13, maybe like 109 yards, and he obviously threw the touchdown pass. But then as the game waned on, we saw, okay, Miles kind of is what he is. I think to this point we know what Miles is as a quarterback, and like I said, we're getting some more details on the next topic. But overall, I think that a position that's not getting enough credit for us is the wide receiver position. The wide receiver position is deep, and they showed up and showed out in California.
I totally agree. We talked about it. It feels like when we first talked about this team during the summer and in the off season, we talked about the big names, the Jeremiahs, the Jeremiah Hicksons, the Levante Chenaults. We talked about those names, but you had a lot of guys step up, tight ends, but also Isaiah Scott for instance.
He has been big, and
absolutely.
He's number 8 in receiving in the SWAC currently.
I'm not surprised. I don't know if it's his relationship with the quarterbacks. I don't know if it's just his ability to get open, but he's been really, really good so far. Especially for a team that's coming in with, we pretty much were talking about them having a number 1 and number 2 wide receivers locked down. Like it was going to be a competition between Jeremiah and Levante as far as who's going to be that number 1 and number 2. So having Isaiah come in and be playing so well, it's encouraging because it's not just him, but he's definitely been a bright spot for this wide receiver core for sure.
I think at our wide receiver position, it's more of a we don't have a true number one as of right now. Nobody has truly distinguished himself from the pack. I think everybody gets a share of the pie. And
Mhm.
I think that's a good problem to have. You don't always want a number one guy, a Jeremiah, to stick out, because then when we play, we get to SWAC play, they're putting a number one corner on him, and then everybody else is just kind of, trying to fit in. But
Yeah,
I
you don't want to
think
be one
that
dimensional ever for sure.
exactly, and I think our play calling has really helped us out as well too. That's one thing I want to give a lot of credit to as well. We haven't had many coaching mishaps in these first 3 games. There's
Mhm.
been no coaching mistakes as far as game clock running out or I think overall everyone guys step on the field, they know what they're doing. Last year we saw some confusion. We saw quarterbacks looking lost, guys out of position. I haven't seen that at all this year, and I think that speaks a lot to what Coach Robinson is establishing on the team.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that it also speaks to his ability to bring get the personnel around him that's experienced. We talked a little bit earlier about how you have a coach, a head coach that's never coached before this, and through 3 games you don't see some of the mistakes that you would see from a first time head coach. Like you said, the clock management or the unnecessary timeouts. Now you do of course see the unnecessary penalties, unnecessary roughness, uh flags for celebrating, stuff like that. But you don't see like the miscues like you were talking about earlier. So I think that also speaks to the people that he has around him.
Yeah, definitely. So it always helps to have a great staff around you and great leadership in the locker room from the players. But that leads us to our next topic. We want to talk about the quarterback position. Kendall, we are arriving to SWAC play week after next, and we start off against Prairie View A&M. To this point, who do you think should be the starting quarterback?
So I kind of took 2 approaches to this. The first approach I took was, is Demetrius healthy? Because as far as what we've seen of him, he's been pretty good. Um, I do look at him as being a little raw. Of course, because I mean he's only played what 2 games. 2 games is his whole collegiate
Really,
career.
1.5,
Yeah, yeah.
and not even a
He
half,
hasn't
like
even
one and a
finished the
quarter.
full game. Exactly. So it's one of those things that I feel like he can be really good, but I still worry about his ability to complete a full game. Like I don't know exactly what he looks like a full game. We've seen flashes. He's a great athlete. He has a lot of potential, but we don't know exactly what he's going to be for a full game. But as far as like who would I start, I would definitely start Demetrius. But I also think that Miles is not making this decision easy at all.
At all.
He's talented. He's not as talented as Demetrius, but he's definitely talented. And Miles, his ability to stay ready is something that I really respect, and I think more people should talk about, because you have this 4 or 5 star quarterback coming in from this big school, and you're still battling with him up until the season started, and then you still make plays when you need to. So I think that he's shown a lot of potential. He's shown a lot of good things too, and I think it's a hard decision, but I would say Demetrius right now.
I mean, like you said, Demetrius' health is a big concern. Not being able to complete a full game or play every single drive of the game is something that definitely scares me a little bit, gives me cause to pause. But I think as far as us, I think that Miles has shown us what he is. I don't think he's going to get any worse. I don't think he's going to get any better. I think that he is a game managing quarterback. He's not going to win you games, but he's also not going to lose them for you. He can make the big plays when you need them, but there are some things that in his game that he has some deficiencies that need to be dealt with, as far as putting the ball in harm's way, being indecisive. I think that Demetrius is a lot more in control of what he wants to do in the moment. He doesn't make a lot of mental errors from the game that we saw. But I want to give Demetrius a chance, and I know that's. I think that these first 3 games were supposed to be opportunity for us to see both quarterbacks, and we
Mhm.
haven't had the opportunity. And I also want to mention that I feel like Demetrius' game fits this offensive line a lot better than Miles does. Miles is not
Oh, for sure.
is not mobile. He's not, making off script plays. Demetrius, when plays, it's all about being able to make the plays that aren't supposed to happen. And that's what you're gonna need when you face teams that like the number one defense in Jackson State, and you got teams like Southern, Prairie View A&M, teams with great defenses. And I think that's what Demetrius brings to the table. So I'm gonna roll Demetrius as well.
I mean, yeah, I think the dynamic of the offense changes completely when he's in the game. Like you said, his play style fits it a lot better because if the offensive line, which is in question, does have some breakdowns, he can elude the defense and then he can make some happen out of it.
Yeah.
So I think that with that type of situation, it's one of those things where we, or at least I feel like Miles is a comparable quarterback. I feel like he's very competent.
He would be a starter on a lot of other SWAC
Exactly,
teams.
and that was my whole thing. I don't think that Miles is a regular number two. I work some things out, and I'm confident with him being a starter for any team. But yeah, especially I think right now with Demetrius's talent, I think that it goes in Demetrius's favor. But I like what some of the people are saying in here. Like, you could definitely start Dede and then have Miles come off the bench. In some packages and things like that. Because, like I said, when you have two quarterbacks that's that talented, you should do something with it.
Yeah, because by no means, just because if they do bench Miles, which I do expect, it doesn't mean that Miles is a bad quarterback. Now, I think that he's shown, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit more than me. You saw him play back in the spring when he first got here. I'm assuming. So he's taken steps. He's gotten better. You've seen maturity in his game over the last 2 seasons. At least I have. I think his accuracy's gotten better last year. His accuracy a little bit off. We didn't really have an accurate quarterback last year. But overall, we have to make a decision at quarterback. We can't go into the season saying we're going to play two quarterbacks, because if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. And to really compete in this SWAC conference, we know the creme de la creme is Jackson State, and we know the creme de la creme is Southern and Grambling and so on and so forth. We have to find a way to have our guy, because they have their guy. And honestly, I think there's only one team in the SWAC.
I don't know about that last school that you named, but that's besides the point.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. There's only one team or two teams in the SWAC that have their quarterback officially ready. That's Jackson State and that's FAMU. Would you agree? And Texas Southern with Andrew Body.
I mean, I if we're talking about just having them named, sure. I don't know if we're. I don't know. I didn't see too much from FAMU's quarterback, at least last game, so I don't know. But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah. But overall, like I said, I think both of us agree. Demetrius, I think he should get his opportunity. You don't bring a guy in like that to sit him on the bench. That's like bringing in Tom Brady to a team and saying, "Okay, I'm not." Let me not say that. That's like bringing a star power quarterback into a team and then saying, "Okay, sit over here." It's not fair. I don't believe. But
yeah, I think if we don't name a quarterback, like if it's kind of like a week to week type thing where we don't know who's gonna start, we run into the same issue that we did last year, where it's hard for an offense to play for a quarterback, and they don't know who they're going to be playing for week to week, and especially if their styles are completely different.
Yeah, because different styles make fights. But I do think, I will say this, I think the benefit that we have with Demetrius not playing these last 3 games is there's not a lot of film out there on him. So every team doesn't know how to prepare for him. So we can use that to our advantage. Now, at some point, that film is going to catch up, because he's going to play, 3, 4 games and 5 games. But it takes about 4 to 5 games to catch the film and catch his tendencies. Nobody knows his tendencies because he hasn't played but 1 game.
It's some pros and cons to both sides. I think that it also hurts him because he's not getting that experience. I think Howard, Miles, and UCLA are great opportunities for him to get an experience as far as what's this college game going to look like, but also what is this team going to look like. And you don't get that, so I feel like that definitely hurts him too. I don't know which one is worse. Like, I don't know if the fact that he hasn't played, that experience, the lack of experience, or if it's going to be one of those things where teams don't have a lot of film on him, so it is what it is. I don't really know. That remains to be seen, but I definitely feel like that's a negative or a con as well as
Ab-
there's a positive.
Absolutely. But let's talk about our next topic. We'll talk about Coach Prom's direct comments in a minute. But Jackson State went and played Tennessee State as a part of the Southern Heritage Classic this past weekend, and it was their final time playing this because Coach Prime says that they don't receive enough money from this, and that begs the question: should HBCUs remain at on campuses, or remain at neutral sites or play on campuses? What do you think, Kendall?
I mean, so we had this conversation back at SWAC Media Day when we were talking about the Magic City Classic. And I don't have the exact numbers, but I do know the Magic City Classic brings the city of Birmingham a lot of money. And I also know that as much money as it brings Birmingham, Huntsville and Montgomery do not get as much money, or ASU and Alabama
We
A&M
get
do not
distorted
get as
in the
much.
stick.
Yeah, for sure. So it feels like it's one of those things where we could definitely benefit from it. Both schools could, both cities could. Having it in Montgomery, hotels sold out. More people showing up, restaurant prices going up, all of that type of stuff. So you could benefit from that for sure, and I think that that's something that would help, but I don't know how feasible it is. I think one of the reasons why I said it is because of the facilities. Magic City Classic bringing a lot of people. I don't know.
60,000 people on the inside, 30,000 on the
Yeah,
outside.
uh, we neither one of these schools have that type of space, have those resources available. So I think that's more of a question that we have to address than then we could talk about the money thing. But I think resource wise, we don't have it right now.
So I think your point is fair. I understand we don't have the capacity, we don't have the seating or even the space in the parking lot for people like that. We already have a parking problem as it is.
Mhm.
But I do believe with that money that you receive from bringing in all these people, they would find a way to get in that game or get where they need to be. They're gonna find a way because if you look at, I know, I understand that Auburn and Alabama have bigger stadiums than us. That's understood. We get that, but they used to play the Iron Bowl in Birmingham. They haven't played there in 20 years. They stopped.
Mhm.
So my point is they've benefited and grown their stadium. Alabama is still adding seating to their stadium every year. They're adding new features to their stadium every single year. I think that we could reap the same benefits by having that kind of income coming in from having that.
I mean, but I think that's also one of those things where that's a lot of money having to be put into the stadiums too. Like that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. I feel like it's easy for us to say, okay, just put more seating, make things or make things better for people so that way, we have enough stuff to accommodate people. But I think it's a lot easier said than done.
I agree. I just believe that we could benefit so much. I think the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion. Now, I think the
I
biggest
mean,
con is, go
you
ahead.
can, you can go, you can go.
I just think that we need that money, especially at HBCUs. We wouldn't have these issues of, you know, not having hot water. We wouldn't have these issues of poor dorm rooms. We wouldn't have some of these cleaning issues because we're having so much money come in. Because I'm sure Alabama today is a lot different than it was in the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
And you have to think about what percentage of money do you think that they are getting out of the Iron Bowl playing in Alabama? It's in Alabama this year. So think about how much money they're going to bring into their school just based off that. And
Mhm.
Alabama is bringing in money anyways from because every week they play an SEC school or play anybody of notoriety, they're getting money from it.
For sure. I
So
mean, I I don't agree. I don't disagree with you when you say it's a lot of pros to it. I definitely don't. I just think after talking to some people about it, I feel like realistically it's a lot more difficult to do than I think we're making it. But I definitely feel like this person said, I definitely feel like we should be getting more than 400K for it.
yeah,
Because
because you got to think about how much the city of Birmingham is taking from it. They're the one
exactly.
reaping the majority of the benefits, the larger percentage,
Yeah,
and we
exactly.
should be getting some of that cut. Could you imagine if we were bringing in all the money from the Mad City Classic? Out of all, you're talking about 60,000 people on the inside, another 30,000 outside, and you bringing in celebrities to come sing the halftime show, bringing in celebrities to come sing on the national anthem. The money that you get, it would be unfeasible.
This isn't a classic per se, but I mean think about the MEX SWAC challenge. We was in Atlanta for what, 2 days?
Hmm.
Some people probably stayed for all three, Friday through Sunday. How much money you think Atlanta made? Like
Probably more than we did.
exactly. So it's an attraction. It's an attraction for sure. And I feel like if it were to happen, I think that both schools would have to be completely on board with it. Whatever schools, not just A&M and
Yeah,
ASU,
because
but
there's a lot of classics out there.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But that's a big attraction. These players, these programs are bringing in a lot of money, but it's not going to the schools. It's not going to the people that actually are a part of it. So, I definitely think that there are some things that could happen to change that. And I think that it should, but I just think that we need to go about it the right way.
Definitely. Um, Kind of on the same subject, our next topic, Coach Prime made some comments after this week's game. After, last week for most SWAC schools, we were playing big schools. Let's take a listen to Coach Prime's comments.
The play against North Carolina. Southern, thank God, you got 760. I like that. Alabama State, 590 for UCLA. You probably exhausted that in the flight going all the way across the country. Bethune-Cookman, I don't even know what their payout is. We're still trying to find out that. Alabama A&M, 300,000 as well to play against UAB. If we're going to get our butt kicked, shouldn't it be worth it as a HBCU and say we're not playing these beat down games unless we get this? Now, don't go up under. You can negotiate above, but have the level be 750 or a million. Have something. Make it worth your team's while, because you're going to lose players. You're going to lose pride and dignity when we sit up here and telling you we're just as good, but you go out there and show that we're not as good. We're not nearly as good. And then you're losing 3 to 4 players because of the type of beating that you've got. Now you got to lift them and build them back up the next week to go back there and say, you could do it this week. Go directly to your football department. They out there getting their butts kicked. Not the rest of the school. They out there getting their butts kicked. They out there getting abused. They out there getting hurt. They out there getting injured. And now you want to spread it out amongst the school. I don't agree with that. If they out there playing, they should reap the benefits.
So, Kendall, we heard his comments. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the comments, let us know what you think. Do you agree with Coach Prime's overall point?
I agree with them. I agree with them to an extent. I definitely do. I'm putting this into the ASU perspective first. We went to UCLA, and he said we made what he said,
590.
Like, yeah, 590. So we have to think about this. We went to the West Coast, played in California, and we sent the football team, the band, the Royal Court, the SGA. We sent all of these people,
everybody,
and more than that. Yeah, we're not even gonna get into that. And more than that, and we got 590 out of it. Now that does kind of feel like we definitely could have gotten more. I'm not putting the experience of going to LA, like, I'm not just brushing that aside. Going to LA, HBCUs, being able to recruit, being able to put us on the map and all of that type of stuff, that's invaluable for sure. That's an invaluable experience. But at the same time, who's to say all of the people that we talked to or tried to recruit are coming here? Who's to say that the high school that we talked at, who's to say those kids are coming here? Are we actually going to reap benefits of going down there for what, 2 to 3 days? If we're going to reap anything, we might as well get the money from it. The money from the actual game that the players are playing in. I mean, we saw it. It's an injury risk. I mean, we seen throwaway games that really don't matter as far as conference. Our starting quarterback got injured. So, like, what it doesn't. I definitely get what he's saying for sure. I understand.
So, I smiled because isn't this the point that I made last week? Is this not the point that I made?
I was just about to say that. See, okay, so you talked about,
but you had a problem with it last week. Now you're agreeing with it. But I said it last week.
Okay, time out. Because I didn't say that we should play third string players against these teams. I didn't say that. This is about money.
But
this ain't about.
We played a third string quarterback. But go ahead.
Okay, we didn't start them though, did
Go
we?
ahead. Go ahead
You
with your
said
point. Go with your
starting.
point. Go with your point. Cause
All right, bro. You know I forget things easily, so you did that on purpose, and you know it's a live show. But I'm gonna put it past you. Basically, all I was saying was that you have these players, they go over there. You have these coaches, they go over there. 590, I don't think is enough at all. I think that we should definitely, like he said, the cap should be or the starting point should be 750 to a mil for sure. So I gotta agree with Prime on that one.
yeah, I mean, we have to understand our value. Like this comment says right here. The problem is we devalue us. We
Mhm.
think just because we're HBCU going in here and we're playing, Alabama, Auburn, UCLA, obviously we all understand we're not going to win. We want to get to the point where we can compete, but we have to at least get something out of it. We're going to get beat up. We're going to get embarrassed on national TV. At least give me some money. And he talked about, letting all the money go to the football department. I disagree with that part because I
Mhm.
feel like the money needs to be spread around the school. But I do feel like the football department deserves most of the money. I just that I didn't know we were making 590. It really threw me for a loop when that happened. When I was
Yeah,
told
I
that.
didn't know that either. I definitely didn't know that either. Um,
So
I mean, like you said, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for us to only be making 590. I think another issue that I have with it is that we go up to these schools. We're not when we say we devalue us like the university and we devalue who we are as far as what we're worth. We're not just an attraction. Like okay, when think about it like this way when we go play these top teams, what do these teams be saying? What do these teams say?
off week, bye week.
Off week, by week. Oh, we get to see the marching band. Oh, we get to see this. We get to see that. That's not. That's not what we should strive for. Like you said, we want to be competitive. Sure, that's going to take time. But at the end of the day, we can't just go up here and just be like, all right, we're an attraction. We're getting 590 and we're going back. We're going back to Alabama or we're going back to Jackson or we're going back to Florida, whatever. That doesn't make sense. If we're gonna go for it, we need to go for it all in. We can't just say, okay, we're just gonna give we're just gonna take whatever they give us. Now we gotta fight for what we want.
Now I want to ask you this. This is your mom, correct? It's your mom. All right.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
My mom-
Address. Do,
my
do
mom-
you agree with her comment? I'm gonna let you address it.
No, the football team made the money. So that's a good question. So okay, all right. Let me talk about this. So football, they, I think that yeah. I mean, they're going out there. They're sacrificing their bodies, like Coach Prime said. They're putting their respect on the line because I think people see 62 to nothing. People see sometimes 86 to nothing. Sometimes like scores like that. People see stuff like that and they're just like, okay, like that takes away any progress that an HBCU has made if you're getting blasted by 62, but then you win a SWAC championship. Like it's the balance and power is just not there. So I need to agree. Okay. She's 800 miles away, but all right. But yeah, so I feel like football is. I think that they should make a good amount. I don't know if I would say all of it because there are some, and I know I can speak for this here, but I can't speak for every university. It's some sports that don't get a lot of money at all. They get very little amount of money for the work that they put in. We're if you look on campus right now, we have a football field. We have two football fields well, we have one football field that just got new turf. We have another one that's getting new turf. But then we have a track that's been constructed on for what, uh, two,
The
three
whole
semesters now.
summer till now.
Exactly, 2, 3 semesters now. So I feel like it's one of those things where those type of sports that don't get a lot of shine, because we know the sports that get a lot of shine: basketball and football, and maybe baseball too. Other sports they're not getting a lot of shine. So I definitely think that it should be dispersed instead of the football team just reaping all of the benefits.
Yeah, because you have to look at the bigger picture. Where while we're going out there trying to compete athletically, we're also trying to compete in the classroom. And once you get the classrooms up to par with these other schools, then you can talk about competing academically. Because then students, recruits, 5-star, 4-star recruits are going to want to come to your school because they see your classrooms don't look like a dumpster house. And when that happens, like I said, it drives your enrollment up. When your football team is winning, your enrollment goes up. But we have to really think about what's going on outside of football. There are students on this campus who are living, well, let me not say, I'm not going to say our campus, but there are students on HBCU campuses that are living in poor housing conditions. They don't have water, aren't getting the best learning experience. And I think that
Mhm.
we have to look at the bigger picture as far as them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think that the question that's being posed, I think, goes deeper into priorities than it does as far as just who should get the money.
Yeah,
I think that's more of a priority thing, and I
students are the
think
most
that
important thing.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I I think that it should be dispersed, honestly.
Absolutely. But Kendall, we had some. We want to talk about all sports. Give all sports their shine on this platform. So the Bama State volleyball team and Bama State soccer team played this past week. Picked up some wins. Kendall, can you update the people?
Yes, sir. Like you just said, soccer got their first dub of the year, against Faulkner. They played. They won 2-0 or 2-1. This past Sunday, McKinley Hacker and Cassandra showing. Excuse me. They both scored a goal. In the second half, and star goalie Sheila Sanchez, she recorded 2 saves as well. They play their next game against South Carolina State this Friday at 6 at the ASU Soccer Complex. And make sure we gotta show out for this game because it's Greek and Student Day as well. We gotta show out for them. They've been playing a couple games this season, and they need all the support they can get for sure. So we
Show
gotta
everybody
show out
love.
for that one.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then like you said, the volleyball team, they won their first game versus South Carolina State. Speaking of, in a 3-0 sweep, in their first home game of the season last Friday. So congratulations to them. I got a couple of stats for you for that too. Temperance Chapman, she led the team in digs with 13. Madison Beasley led the team in assists with 22. Mahogany Vincent, she led the team with 5 blocks. Ta-
Spit it
Tanaya,
out, bro. Spit
excuse
it
me.
out.
Excuse me. Tanaya Jones, she recorded 8 kills for a team high. So, they play really well. We got a chance to see them. And it was crazy. The environment was crazy, the new floor, all of that was really nice. So,
Beautiful
you know,
floor.
yeah, definitely. The floor is beautiful. So if you guys haven't seen the floor, make sure you guys come to a game and watch this team play. They got some potential for sure. They can be really good. But they're actually currently playing Jacksonville State in Lockhart. So we wish them the best of luck. And the game after that, they play against Troy this Thursday at 6 to kick off the Trojan Invitational. Troy is what, a couple hours away?
Nah,
And we might
about an hour, 50 minutes.
even better. So we might even be there. But we got to show out for that one too, for sure. Make sure these
Absolutely.
girls get their props.
Great job, bro. Great job. Proud of you, man. Long time no see. But we
I'm good,
appreciate you
bro. I
guys
haven't
for
done a
so,
rundown like
huh?
that. I said I haven't done a rundown like that in a while.
No, it's been a minute since best in this. They might come back, by the way. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. You
But
seen
we
any of these
appreciate
comments, bro?
you. Want to keep talking?
I mean, I don't mind.
Hey, I ain't never time. So, what do you think about this comment? Is there any more revenue for schools for private university? Well, like we said, it does provide money for the school,
Mhm.
but I think that we have to spread it. It can't just be for the football program. I
For
mean,
sure.
we've seen obviously, when your football team is winning, everything is good. Everybody wants to go to a winning school, but you also have to upgrade the classrooms because there's classrooms that on HBCU campuses that look like they've been here since slavery, honestly. But
Since okay, yeah, we might have to end the show since slavery is crazy. Um, but yeah, man, I think that it could be a group effort for the school, to be honest, to distribute the money the way that it needs to be distributed. So, I definitely think that it's something that the university can do. I just think it needs to be more of a focus.
yeah, I mean, it definitely has to be. One thing about what Coach Sanders says that might not be true is he blew the money on travel. Now they didn't reap all the benefits. We didn't the whole 590 we didn't keep. Most of that was taken, on the way there, which you have to consider. So
Mhm.
really and truly, we're probably not getting what maybe I don't even know. I don't want to say a wrong number, but we're not getting all the 590s. I'll say.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where the 590 $590 million, it sounds like it's a lot.
590,000.
Thousand, my fault. That's even worse. 590,000 is sounds like a lot, but it can go by really quick, especially for all of the people that we have at the school, and probably for the trip that it took them to go and come back. So
Yeah, it's all about priorities, bro. And a lot of HBCU's priorities aren't always focused on the right thing, as we can see.
for sure,
And we gotta, tighten up those things.
absolutely, I completely agree.
So if you have any other things you want to say in the comment section, just let us know. We're still here for a little minute. Every time.
Oh, we're still here for.
Oh, if you were, hey, you're the one that brought it up. You brought it up, man.
I mean, because I thought we was having a really good conversation. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I think that it's good that we're having the conversation for sure.
Absolutely.
Mom's got the jokes today. $100.
Nah, but you saying 590 million was crazy.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. First, like my first thought was 590 million.
I
But
wish. Could
after I
you
said
imagine what we could do with 500 million?
exactly. But no,
Jeez.
590,000 is crazy. For as much as we did, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. But if you just now tuning in, you could also give us your comments on who you think should be the starting quarterback for ASU, starting SWAC play, or you could give us comments on should the Madison City Classic or any classic go back to being home site or should remain neutral.
I mean,
So Kendall, we
I
got this
don't know
question:
about
what
them.
percent that should the football team keep? I think they should keep. I want to say a 60-40 deal. It's close to 50-50 as possible.
Okay, I can see that. I was gonna say 60-40, 70-30.
Yeah, never
Around
a
that.
90-10. That's
Yeah, I feel like it could be more dispersed because I mean they're gonna recoup a lot of that money from other things, like the Magic City Classic, like the Turkey Day Classic. They're gonna reap the benefits of those events too. So I think you got to keep that in the perspective when you're deciding what percentage.
Yeah, and you really have to think about what Coach Prime was saying. He wasn't necessarily saying that these classics aren't like, we heard him at the SWAC media day talk about tradition. And what is tradition? What is tradition? What is tradition? Now I understand we try to keep SWAC schools and HBCUs. We're historical. We want to be, we want to keep the historical aspect of us, but we also have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Evolve. There's a time when you have history, but you have to make new history. And we tend to hold on to what's the past. And that's okay. It's okay to hold on there. You always want to keep your history. It's always going to be there. History is never disappears. But it's all about taking new steps.
Yeah, you can remember or you can keep traditions, but you can also move towards the future. Like you can use
Exactly.
that to
I like that
fuel
quote, bro. I
where
like
you're
that quote.
from.
You did some of that.
Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I try my best. Um, what
I'm not sure.
what's
I
the
want to
capat?
say
I'm confused.
how many seats do we have? Like how many fans could we fit
Oh,
in total? I want to say it's like around 30,000, somewhere north of 30,000.
that might be something I can look up.
Maybe somebody in that's tuned in can let us know, but I'm not completely sure on that.
53
Oh, I was way off.
599. Yeah, you was
Mm.
53 599.
Gotta give my school more credit than that.
Time, 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 time. That's the Sun Devil Stadium. Shoo!
Kendall, did you put ASU Stadium? Bro, why
I
did
did.
you
My
should
fault,
have
my
known?
fault, my fault. My
You
fault, my
should have
fault, my
known
fault,
when
my
you put
fault.
ASU Stadium. ASU was never the real ASU. Shout out to the real ASU.
I am not working on my stuff today.
Hornet
26 500.
26K. Okay.
Yeah, I'm off with the numbers today. Lord.
Way off, buddy. Way
Bro,
off.
it's been a long week, bro. Relax. Leave me
I
alone.
mean, it's just Tuesday.
It's been a long month. It's been a long
Long
month, bro.
2 months at that.
Shoot. But yeah, 26,500.
We would definitely have to increase the seating in our stadium for that kind of thing.
Oh,
I think we
definitely.
can do it.
Definitely.
But the income would be crazy.
And I think it would be worth it because that's a lot of money that you would have to put into the stadium to begin with before you can recoup the benefits of it. So I think that it would be worth it in the long run, but that's a lot of money to kick out.
And I think it's time for us to upgrade our stadium a little bit more now anyways, because it has been 10, 11 years. Not saying anything is wrong with our stadium, but you always want to keep it up, updated. So where the point 10 years from now, it's not going to be the same new ASU stadium.
For sure.
So
yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be worked on at least every decade or so.
Yeah.
At least, putting more seats in the stadium for sure.
Mm-hmm. But taking maybe 2 or 3 more comments here, if anybody wants to leave any other than that. Personally, I don't know about Kendall. I can't speak towards any other students or any other football players because
it's emotion light, bro. It's emotion light. You gotta move.
It's emotion light.
Yeah.
I forgot my bad.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I can't really speak to any other students here. But for me, I really do enjoy Coach Robinson. He's a very personable kind of guy. Very mild mannered, very, very mild mannered, and very intelligent. As you can see on the football field, they've added a couple different things. Clock management is very well. He's a really good guy in my opinion. What about you, Kendall?
I mean, everybody that I've heard, because I know some people that work with him and stuff like that too. So they really positive on him. I don't think there's any debate about whether he's a good dude or not. As far as I can tell, and as far as what I've heard, he's a really good dude. Always smiling and stuff like that. I've seen, or I've talked to a couple of people that have interviewed him and stuff like that too. So
me, I never.
Besides you, but he has a pretty positive reaction.
I thought you wanted to give your sports editors credit, but it's all right though, man. It's cool.
I mean, they know you interviewed him. You talk about it every week.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying. Didn't think I needed to say it. You pretty much say it every week.
All right, boss man.
Appreciate you. One more comment? Is that what you said? Or?
Anybody else? Anybody else before we wrap up? We got one more. Time for one more. I can't speak to numbers. I'm not very well with the income. We're not intact with them.
That would be interesting to look at. I don't know exactly how much the tickets are for homecoming.
No, tickets $57, bro. North of $50.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. I was looking for some, a friend of a friend, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like we said, that's gonna do it for this episode. Make sure you guys tune in to us next week. Like this stream, comment, follow, subscribe on whatever platform. Follow Instagram at Hornet Tribune, Wildcard2K. Follow us on Twitter. Anything else you gotta say to people can do?
Appreciate y'all support. Appreciate y'all coming on.
For sure. See you later next week.